Welcome back to the Fronton. I'm Jeff Brandon. With me, Milford Highlight Director of Public Relations Bob Husler. Together we'll be at courtside for tonight's action, a pair of games, doubles and singles. And later on, you'll be meeting the first black professional in the sport of highlight, Freddy Griffin. First off, though, Bob, our scheduled coverage of round 3 of the Milford Hartford Championship Series will not be shown as slated due to some technical difficulties. Also, round 4 recently complete. What has transpired over those 2 rounds?
Well, Jeff, to put it all in a nutshell, the last 2 rounds of this tournament have been pretty good rounds for Hartford Highlight. In round 3, which was the round we were not able to get out to you, it was a nice night for Hartford player Mendi, who swept the singles and the doubles competition in that particular round. Although Zabala and Arbu remain Milford's leading team and the overall leaders, that was through round 3. And then Zabala and Arbu also had 8 points in the recently completed round 4 to again stay on top of the overall standings. But in round 4, the story of the tournament had to be Remen. Remen had an excellent day in round 4, which was played at Hartford Highlight. He scored a quick 7 points in the singles game, just completely dominated the event. And then in the doubles competition, Remen and his partner Larea substituting for Ergaga, scored a quick 10 in that game, again dominating it, and Remen definitely on a roll in round 4. So once again, just to sum up the last 2 rounds, round 3 and round 4, it is Hartford dominating the singles competition. Remen in first place with 21 points and Mendi in second place with 14 points. In the doubles, Milford's team was Zabala and Arbu, the overall leaders in the tournament, with 31 points. Remen and Erkiaga, Hartford's leading scorers, with 29 points.
I'd like to take care of something once and for all. I'm 5'11", but standing next to Kareem Abdul-Husler here, I feel like Hervé Villachez tattoo on Fantasy. So with the aid of the Manhattan phone book, I'm going to even the score. Okay?
Well, Jeff, they say you can't teach height, so I have nothing to say to you.
Ricardo Montalban and I will be back at the Fronton right after this. The Plain Boss. Jeff Brand and Bob Husler back at the Milford Live Fronton, set for the first of 2 games. First being a doubles match played to 7 points, spectacular 7 scoring, and Bob, we'll see the lineups momentarily on our screen, and we'll be on the proverbial hot seat once again as we go for the doubles.
All right, Jeff. Well, there are some nice choices in this game.
There we go.
And you see them now lined up in their respective post positions.
Effects provided by our cameraman par excellence, Greg Raisin. There you see the lineups for this particular game.
Well, in the game of highlight, the lower post positions, meaning the 1, the 2, and the 3, are always the ones that have the built-in advantage, in that the teams in those post positions get up more often than the teams in the lower post positions. I should say the higher post positions.
You turn around and point to your pick here, Bob. You like the 2? You like the 3?
Oh, that's right. That's a very interesting special effect. We'd make Steven Spielberg proud right there. I like the 2, Gilbert and Badiola. The 8, Zabala and Arrieta, and the people's choice in this game is Juaristi and Correa. As I look up at the tote board here, they currently are a 9-5 favorite, an overwhelming favorite in this game. So if you're going to box 3 numbers in this game, as many people do when they bet a game of highlight, it goes at 268.
Okay, and you can box a Quinella for as little as $6, and you get 3 of the 8 teams going in this particular game, or any game, anytime you visit the Fronton. You saw the parade to the post, the play rotation left side of your screen, that vertical column. You see the serve of the 1, the receiver of the 2. I happen to like Inclan and Javier II in this game. They're in post 5. They're only 1 out of 10 in the win column thus far this season. As you see, echaniz into the serve, and this game is on. There you see Gilbert with the backhand carom. That is good for the point off the serve. Gilbert taking the serve, firing the 2-wall, and he's got the first point. So the 2 now at the top of the line. They'll be serving to the 3. The 3 becomes the receiver, and the 1, having lost the previous point, dropping to the end of the line. I like the 2, 3, 5 box. And I mentioned the team record Inclan and Javier had 1 out of 10. You're saying, well, great, you know that. But how do we know that? When you come into the Fronton, the official program list each and every team record for each particular game. So those statistics are available for all the customers at the Fronton.
Another thing that it's always a good thing to do when you come out to the Fronton is keep on who is winning that particular night. And in this case, we have Minte, who is number 63. Right now he is not on the screen. That's Badiola catching the ball in the backcourt. There's Minte right there, letting the ball go for his backcourt partner Arbu. Minte won the last game. Based on that, you'd have to give him a little bit of an extra look in this particular game. You will always see during the course of a highlight program at least one player get hot 2 or 3 games, and occasionally you'll see a player win 4 games a night. So it's always to your advantage to see if you can pick out that player in the midst of a streak.
The 3 team is Minte and Arbu. And here you see Gilbert for the 2 team. That's Gilbert and Badiola 2. And there's Arbu. White shirts opposed 3. Inclan won his first start of this evening's performance, a game he did not see. He did not play in the game prior, so he's 1 for 1 on the evening. Nice grab made by Arbu along the sidewall.
Arbu, who played very, very well in the last round of the Milford-Hartford series, and the 2 stays on the court with another point.
A rare downtown carry for Badiola, who rarely goes to the forehand. He likes to take just about each and every shot on his backhand, even going to the extreme of catching a backhand on the wood. You normally would take it with your right side, but he threw the carry from downtown. He got the point for the 2 team. They now total 2, and they are serving it up to post 4, Rocha and Perdera. There is Rocha on the serve.
Rocha, one of the more underrated players on this 48-man roster, and he is one of the few players here, Jeff, that I've actually seen make the climb from the first game, the early games, all the way to 13th, and the superior competition of the late games. Nice
the shot by Gilbert is good for 1 more. The backhand by Gilbert sent over his backcourt opponent's head. Now the 2 team with 3 off the goal. 3 points for the 2 team, and the last serve to the 5. Choice Inclan and Javier II, Bob.
Inclan's been having his trouble lately, and he has been blaming it on his latest shipment of baskets, or cestas, as they are known in Spanish. Right there, Inclan almost going for the serve, which is his trademark. He put so many points away after catching it on the serve. But Inclan's late problems with the baskets give us an opportunity to point out to the fans how important the basket is to a player. I think it is one of the most looked past items of all when you talk about a player slumping. Gilbert looking really good in this game so far, and he is a guy who's on a roll as opposed to Inclan slumping at this time. Gilbert has been very, very tough here lately.
Bob mentioned the importance of the Alai cesta. That ball having bounced off the cesta of Badiola, so the 2 team finally sits down. Now serves to 6, Juaristi and Correa. Bob mentioning the importance of baskets. You'll have a chance later on to meet backcourt player Freddy, the first black person in this sport of highlight, and he'll be reinforcing the point that Bob made earlier about the importance of the highlight cesta. So that'll be upcoming right after this game. The 6th team, Juaristi and Correa.
Juaristi has been on a roll. Juaristi has been playing very, very well after a slow start, and he usually gets out to a slow start. This is his 8th season in Milford High, and he is the Fronton's all-time leading winner as he makes a nice pickup right there. Traditionally, it takes a while to get going. Looks like a baseball player who starts heating up with the weather. There's Juaristi showing his best form, putting point away and putting the 6 on the board, their first point of the game.
Left vertical column, the rotation for this game. The 2nd vertical column, the point totals, right alongside the post position numbers in that vertical column, right side of your screen, the win odds for this particular game. So in the middle, you see a 0 next to a 1, 0 points for the 1 team. 3 points for the 2 down the line. 6 serving to Sylvan, and Akabe and Elorza.
And Akabe in there as a substitute tonight for Orbegozo. And players get hot and they get cold, and here at Milford Highlight we have injuries that occur in clumps, it seems, and then sometimes when the roster remains relatively injury-free. Right now, we seem to be hitting a stretch of the season where a lot of players are getting hurt, and Orbegozo, the latest to head to the sidelines.
Just a virus troubling Orby, and should be back in the not too distant future. But again, as Bob told you earlier, the locker room looking like the second coming of a MASH unit now here at the Milford Fronton. Scratches aplenty. That is Correa in the backcourt for the 6 team. And here you see Elorza, the backcourt counterpart for both siblings. Correa drops the ball in the backcourt, so the 7 gets the point. And completing the first time around in the purple shirts of Bow State, Zabala and Arietta.
One nice thing about sitting next to the court, Jeff, as we do here, we are right on the apron of the Fronton court. You get to hear everything, including the hum of those lights, which are right above us. 2 million candle power of lights, which require a lot of power, so they hum. And along with that sound, you can also hear the sounds on the court. And then at last point, you saw Correa drop the ball, but if you were sitting where we are, and along with the fans down the front rows, you would have heard that ball spin right out of his basket. And we talked about it on previous telecasts, and it's something that fans don't always pick up on, but if you're down here close, you can hear that ball and the tremendous spin that is generated by the basket, giving it that extra spin effect, and the ball also spinning off the wall. It's awful tough to control in the basket. It's one of the first things a highlight player has to learn to do successfully.
Again, not so important to get the ball in the basket. What's most important is stopping the ball, controlling the ball inside the basket, otherwise you lose the point. And again, if you're playing the ball next to the side wall, there's always a chance of a redirect. The ball glances off the side wall there and changes its spin in mid-flight. So you have to judge the spin of the ball and make the necessary adaptations as Anakabe makes a fine play with his backhand. The 7 has one more. There you see Anakabe. So now that each team has taken a turn on the court, points are doubled for the remainder of the game. Each point now worth 2. For the duration, first team to get to 7 wins this game. 7 now serves to 1. The 1 is back. It's Jay Echaniz and Tolosa. Jeff Brandon, Bob Husler at courtside at the Milford Fronton. Jay Echaniz picking off the serve. Ball taken on 2 bounces by Elorza in the backcourt. The inside placement by Jay Echaniz got by Anakabe, and Elorza was too deep in the backcourt to make the play. He made the play, but it was on 2 bounces, so pair of points for the 1. 1 now serves to 3, Minte and Arbu.
Jay Echaniz doing on that last play what all good, successful front courtmen must learn to do, and that's catch the serve and put it away. Of course, if you're the server, as Jay Echaniz was in that last play, your objective is to make sure your opponent does not catch the serve. And he did that successfully last time.
Unique moniker for that front court player on the 1 team, Jay Echaniz. Bob, why the distinction with the initial?
Well, he has a brother named Echaniz, and he didn't want to go. He has a brother who plays under the name of Echaniz, and his father also is a very great player in his day. He's currently a player's manager down in Florida. But Echaniz, whose real first name is Jose, didn't want to go with the Roman numeral after his name, so he could have opted for Echaniz the first or Echaniz the second. So instead of going that route, he decided to put an initial in front of his name, which is fine. You can do that too.
So Bob turns pro, it'll be R. Husler.
We'll never see that day. That is a certainty.
The 3 team is Minte and Arbu. The 1 team, Jay Echaniz and Tolosa. Game played to 7 points. Points now worth 2 at a time for the duration. Ball catches the crack at the base of the rear wall, and the points go to 3. And 3 now will serve to 4. Rotate and Pradera. You see the rotation change. That vertical column left side of your screen.
Talking about names, we have a real good one on the Milford roster this year that I know you as an announcer had trouble getting used to, and one that your cohort up in the announcer's booth, Jeff
Cursed
Holtz.
him many times in my sleep. I know who you're talking about.
Well, that's the one and only Zubi Karai. Actually, it's easy once you get used to it, as just about anything is once you're used to it. But my all-time favorite name in Highlight, and I've never seen him play, but I've seen his name listed in the program several times. I believe he's at Daytona Beach. I might be mistaken, Daytona Beach or Orlando. But there's a player down there by the name of the Durango Kid. And ball
too high on the front wall, so 3 scores, a couple more, and 3 now will serve to 2. Gilbert and Badiola. Back with Bob Story.
I have no idea where he came up with the name Durango Kid. My guess would be that there's a town in Spain, Durango, and he's from that town. But why he just didn't call himself Durango, added the moniker Kid to it, is of course a puzzle to me. I guess I'd have to talk to their PR guy, but it takes a lot of guts to go out there with a name like the Durango Kid. He must take some heavy abuse when...
Brings to memory that Johnny Cash song, A Boy Named Sue. He better be a good player. Yeah. Or he better know how to fight.
Well, he hasn't been in Connecticut. We'll have to wait and see for ourselves. Maybe he'll make it up the ladder and arrive here someday. I'd suggest a name change before he got up here, though.
That is Arbu for the 3 team. And here is his backcourt counterpart, Badiola for the 2. It's a 3 against the 2. And the winner at this point will have possible game points, so a pivotal one right here.
Yeah, no doubt. This is the pivotal point, and the teams are feeling each other out. They know what position they're in. Prize money of $110 on the line in this game, as in every doubles or singles game here at Milford Alai, as the 3 puts themselves in that game point position. That $110 is broken down 533 and 22, if I got that right, on my off the top of the head addition process. Well, you see the 3 up for game point. Before the game started, I like the 2-6-8, so I certainly am not in good shape right here.
Backhand Karam Inclan is picked off by Arbu. A fantastic play by Arbu, keeping the ball alive.
That was a great play. Inclan, though, comes back and puts the point away.
The shot by Inclan is good for the point, but what a play by Arbu. The shot by Inclan, it was a half backhand Karam that split the defense, but Arbu was there to get the ball before it reached the screen. The ball was nearly dead into the screen. Arbu kept it alive momentarily, but now he'll take a seat on the bench. 5 now serves to 6. Juaristi and Correa.
Give Arbu a lot of credit on that play, as you did, because he deserves it. Very tough defensive play, but also give Inclan some credit, because what often happens is when a player finds himself on the receiving end of a great play, as Inclan was that time, sometimes loses his concentration and isn't able to recover from it. And I've seen front courtmen been rejected in the past by a player and then lose their concentration and drop the ball in the return. But that time, Inclan kept his wits and then killed the point rather easily.
5-team Inclan and Javier II. That is Javier II playing the best high here at the Milford Frontside.
Absolutely. It started over the winter where he played in Dania Highlight down in Florida. We had a very, very good season, and it's had a carryover effect.
Backhand Karam Inclan, good for a couple more. Instant offense. That is Inclan, number 21, right there on your screen. Game played to 7 points are worth 2 at a time. And the 5 has 5. So added up, possible game point for Inclan and Javier. And Bob, I'm sitting on a trifecta right here.
As a matter of fact, you certainly are. You shouldn't have said anything. That's always the jinx, but it's a good time for Inclan to bust loose. He has been having his trouble here lately, but perhaps this is going to signal a break of the slump.
8-team is Zabala and Arietta. They're trying to sit down the 5 that has possible game point. That is Zabala. Nice grab made by Inclan.
Great grab.
Had he not made that play, it might have bounced over his backcourt mate's head. There's Javier II in the backcourt.
He has been everywhere lately, Javier II.
Not there in time, though, so the 5 will sit down. And the 8 now with a pair of points. To their credit, 8 now serves to Sylvan. And Akabe and Elorza. Spoke too soon. Cardinal rule of highlights. Never over till it's over. Borrowed from an ex-manager of another sport.
Yeah, he certainly has gotten a lot of credit for that one. It certainly belongs up there with the famous quotations. And you're right, it does have a lot to do with this sport. Because, and we've said this before in these highlight telecasts, when you are at game point, your opponents are going to bear down all that much more against you. It requires that little extra concentration and effort to get over the hump and win that game.
Shot by Zabala, good for a couple more. That man. sees his team now with a total of 4 points to their credit. 8 now serves to 1. Echaniz and Tolosa. Again, the game played to 7 points. First team to get to 7 will win this game.
That is Zabala, known in the locker room as Chili, because if you look in your Milford Highlight program, you will. His birthplace is listed as Chile, although he is not really a Chilean. He is a Basque. His nationality is Chilean because he was born in that country, but he only lived there a couple of years. He grew up in Guernica for the vast majority of his years.
You see the fine left side of Tolosa in the back for the 1 team, keeping that point alive.
Tolosa has a great left side, and if he had a right side to match, he would be a superstar. Unfortunately, that's not the case. He only has an average right side, although certainly more than enough to get by.
While we were away, the 8 picked up 2 more, so they have 6 on their side of the ledger. Game played to 7 possible game points. Zabala and Arietta post 8. And trying to keep the game alive will be the 4, Rocha and Perdera. So it's possible right here for the 8.
This is a great example of why you never give up in the game of highlight. Whether if you're here as a patron or if you're a player, took to the 13th, it made it the 14th point of the game before the 8 scored, but here they are in a game point situation.
Looking for a second round run out. That's the 8 team, Zabala and Arietta. That's a control foul. The ball is not controlled in the backcourt by Perdera. As we told you earlier, you must control the ball in the basket, so a second round run out for the 8 team, Zabala and Arietta. It's an 8-3-5 finish. So an up and down job of handicapping this time around, and stay tuned. You'll be meeting the first black professional highlight player, and also some one-on-one competition to follow. All that and more coming your way right after this. Jeff Brand back at the Milford Fronton, where I'm joined by Freddy Griffin. 23-year-old Freddy Griffin, one of 3 American additions to the 1985 Milford Highlight roster, bringing that total to 8 for this particular season. Freddy is the first black professional highlight player, and needless to say, your story is a unique one. What are its beginnings?
Well, I had an older brother who was an aficionado in Miami named Cecil, who started myself and my younger brother when I was about 12, and he was 10. And we started practicing in North Miami, amateur highlight in North Miami, Florida. And we've been playing ever since.
And you also have another professional in the family, professional player by the name of Teddy, is that correct?
Yes, he plays in Fort Pierce, Florida now. He's doing very well there also.
Okay, you said the other brother was Cecil. Wait a second. Freddie, Teddy, not Eddie?
No, fortunately not.
Okay, I'm sure I'm not the first one to ask you that one.
I think you are.
Well, you've been labeled the Jackie Robinson of highlight, referring, of course, to the late, great Brooklyn Dodger. And baseball fans might be aware of the fact that it took that man, that superstar, such a long time to break into the major leagues. How does it feel to be a pioneer of sorts?
Well, I feel it's a great honor to be compared as a % of anything, especially involving sports. And as a pioneer in highlight, I guess I didn't have the difficulties that he was confronted with as the first black in his game. But I've had difficult times in the beginning, and I still have things I have to deal with right now as of today. But it's for the better part. It's not as difficult as his profession was.
Okay, I read a recent interview with Brian Gumbel, a pioneer in his own right, which he stated that he feels he's finally being recognized for his talents, not having the audience focus so much on his color. Your thoughts?
It's the same thing with myself. Initially the crowd will utilize the fact that I'm black, and I have to, every new audience that I perform in front of, I have to prove the fact that I can play the game. So that's essential for myself to look upon, to prove myself as a player primarily, and then race is secondary.
Okay, you have been toiling in Florida, and now you've been at the Milford Highlight Front 2 months. What kind of reception have you received?
Well, the majority of the crowd here has received me exceptionally well. I'm very relaxed playing in front of the Milford crowd, and there's no problems with the reception I've received from the crowd here.
Okay, again, referring to the sport of baseball, fans might remember the plight of Gold Glover Greg Nettles in the World Series a few years back, where somebody pilfered his trusty mitt. Fans in highlight might not realize the importance of the relationship between a player and his cesta. If you drop the ball, it's quite easy to place the blame elsewhere, with the primary target being the basket. What do you think about that?
That's an aspect of the game that the crowd is not aware of. The cestas are essential. The cesta to a highlight player is almost maybe 60% of his game, because it's like an extension of your arm, and it determines what you do with the ball. And so if you feel most comfortable with the cesta, and then it has a lot to do with how you're playing. So good highlight players that have the better cesta makers, it has a lot to do with the cestas, and cestas are a big part of the game. Now, a lot of times you take out a brand new cesta, and the cesta, a lot of people aren't aware of, the cesta when it's brand new it's not cracked at all, and the ribs aren't cracked. So it's harder to stop the spin on the ball, you know, with cesta like for 2 or 3 days. So you have to take your time a little bit more, but that is important. When you first go for the ball, you take out a brand new cesta, it's like starting all over again, and a lot of people aren't aware of that.
A lot more there than meets the eye, is that correct?
Yes, there's a lot of you know, things that are involved that people just don't see.
July 1st, here at the Milford Fronton begins All-American Week, featuring Round 5 of the Milford Hartford Championship Series. That's Tuesday night, July 2nd. And also on the agenda that week, All-American Week, a 15-game noon program on the 4th of July. And the highlight that day will be an All-American singles match. Has there been a lot of talk in the locker room about bragging rights?
Not as of yet. This is the first for me hearing about it. But it should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, there are 8 American playing professionals on the Milford roster and 8 post positions, and that's what the lineup will be comprised of. So you're going to be going head-to-head against the 7 other Americans on the roster. How do you feel?
I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I think I can hold my own and see what happens.
Well, now that everybody's going to be aware of it, there should be a lot of talk in the locker room, and I'm sure the sauna won't be contributing the only hot air in the Milford Highlight locker room.
There's a lot of that.
There certainly is. We picked another good night to speak with Freddie. Of course, 2 wins on tonight's program, the games that you did not see, but Freddy Griffin, who is the first black playing high professional in the world's fastest game, comes in sporting a superlative win ratio of 18% and a 422 in the money percentage, and great stats. And Freddie, continued success and good luck to you.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, and you might have heard the phrase, as quick as you could say Jackie Robinson. Well, that's about how quickly Freddie has gained popularity here at the Milford Highlight Fronton. Back with more coverage of the world's fastest game right after this. Jeff Brand and Bob Husler back at the Milford Fronton, ready for some one-on-one competition. $35,000 Milford Singles Championship. And Bob, again, we could do some handicapping here. Again, the post positions, all important in the game of highlight with the spectacular 7-system scoring with a points double after the first round of play. There you see the lineup for this game and the players' individual numbers on the right side of the screen.
Well, if we're going to take another crack at it, Jeff, I'll play the old start with a good post position in relation to the player occupying it game. And like Rocha in the 2, something tells me that Correa is due. A couple of weeks ago, we had Correa as a substitute in this game, and he won his very first outing.
Right there.
No, you got it down, and I know. Correa is in the 1, but I'll go with Rocha in the 2, and I'll match him up with Elorza in the 4. And Inclan looked so good in that 10th game that you have to think to pass him up would be a mistake. So if you're going to combine them in a 3-number box, I would be staying with the 2, the 4, and the 7 in this game. Do I get a saver?
If you want one, as you see the parades of the post, take a saver.
The 5.
All right, so we just about covered the whole lineup there.
Yeah. Now,
Can't play them all.
Zabala, again, on that theory, who won the last game, played very well, and he's been playing good in this singles game all season long. This being the championship singles game. There are 3 singles games every card, but this is the featured event.
Okay, and that man on your screen right there, Correa, went 7 in a row the hard way, 7 straight single points in yesterday's performance, and his serve starts this game. The last time we saw him in a singles event right here on Cablevision, he ran the game out from the 8-hole. So I'll go with Correa using the 2 big guys down at the bottom, Juaristi and Inclan. That's a 1-6-7, and we'll see what happens as we promptly sit down Correa, and Rocha gets the first point of this game. So Rocha, having won the first point, now advances to the top of the line, and Correa, having lost the first point, will now go to the end of the line. 2 now serves to 3. Arrieta, the first player to get to 7, will win this game.
Stepping onto the court, wearing the white shirt of post number 3 will be Arrieta coming into your screen as the serve approaches him, and he is going to get that point as the result of an overserve thrown up by Rocha. Arrieta I enjoy watching because he's not the most stylistic player, and we've talked about his little hitch before that he has when he throws the ball, but you have so much trouble getting the ball past him. I remember talking to a player who was here last year by the name of Elorza, a tremendous singles player, as Elorza II now is on the court playing against Arrieta right there, taking the ball off the rebote wall. Elorza was telling me, and he was a very good singles player, that Arrieta was his toughest opponent because Arrieta was always there, a positional player who did not drop many easy chances.
Of course, in singles play, no distinction made between front court and back court, but per usual in highlight, the role of the backcourt player is just to catch the ball, and Arrieta does nothing but catch everything. As right there he goes to the inside, Elorza outside, so the point goes to Arrieta. He now totals 2. You'll see the rotation and the point total change. There you see a 2 in the middle of your screen next to the 3. 2 points for the 3, Arrieta. The 5 receiver is Zabala.
During the last game, the doubles game, I was referring to the typical slow start of Juaristi. And on the other hand, you have Zabala now on the court playing in the post 5 position, who is a typically fast starter who the last 2 seasons in Milford has been the leading winner right through, I think, August and into September. Doesn't look good right there as Arrieta catches him with a very good serve. That was a very tough chance there for Zabala. Anyhow, Zabala is off again to a good start this year. He's among the top 10 winners of the Fronton currently. Has a good record in this game, and I think he'll get up again. We'll see if my saver, as we put it at the beginning of the game, gets a second chance. But right now, the player to keep an eye on is the 3. He is Arrieta.
Well, on the previous serve, Zabala let the serve play him, and the right into the corner, hugged the wall, and Arrieta now with a total of 3 points and a drop in the backcourt on the serve by Juaristi. That's a simple drop right there. Ball spun out of the basket of Juaristi. Might have been looking to throw the ball before he caught it. So 4 points now for Arrieta. And people are saying, hey, how come he dropped the ball? He's a great player. You ever see a shortstop drop the ball in the hole? Well, that ball was dropped by Juaristi, plain and simple. Except right here, Juaristi not rewarding his backers as he takes a seat on the bench. The 7th player is Inclan. Arrieta backing up. He goes to the inside once more, and he's got one more. So again, with Arrieta backing up as a shot banged off the rebote wall, that rear wall, Arrieta could do whatever he wanted to with that particular shot. He could have gone to the wall, or he could have sent it over the head of Inclan, but he simply went to the inside. And again, Inclan gets the outside of the court. Completing the first round of play, Javier II, post 8.
Well, on that last point, Arrieta is showing why he is so tough a singles player. Knows exactly what he's doing out there. It's not flashy, but he has complete command of what he wants to do. This should be a good point. These two match up very well, Arrieta and Javier II.
You see the hitch in the catching motion of Arrieta. There's a carom in the cushion. Ball too low on the front wall. It hit that lower cushion. So another for the 3. Now that each player is taking a turn on the court, the points are double for the remainder of the game. But Arrieta might not need the double point because he's got 6 straight points from the goal. And it's possible game point for Arrieta, looking to go out the hard way with 7 straight single points.
Well, you talked about how Correa did it yesterday, and now Arrieta from the 3 has a chance to do what does not happen too often. Win the singles game in 7 straight points. He's on the defense.
Looking to go right out the door here.
He was on the defensive. He played it nicely, and he wins it in a run-out.
7 in a row the hard way for Arrieta. He won 7 straight points on the court, and that's the hard way. And at the time the winner was declared, post 2, Rocha, having won the first point of the match. He has the next highest amount of points on the board, which is that 1-point marker. So he finishes second. Now 6 players remain with a goose egg on the board, and they're going to pair down and form an elimination round. So whoever loses here will be eliminated from the playoff, and the winner will stay on to compete in a 3-player round robin. 6 players are left here with nary a point to their credit, as the shot by Elorza is good for a pair of points. So he stays alive. 6 now serves to 7. Again, they're paring down to form an elimination round. Another one of the varieties of playoffs here in the sport of highlight, trying to find that 3rd place finisher.
Playoffs not as complicated as they might appear the first time you try and figure it out. Very simply, they're an elimination way of determining whether it's a place or a show position, determining who gets it. And right now you see the 6 stay on the board, and now the Eagles serve to the 1, and the winner of this point will meet the 4 as the elimination round continues. And I'm kind of surprised by the result of that last game. Certainly did not expect Arietta to run it out from the 3.
Well, actually, as the rotation will advance here, the winner of this point will go to the end of that 3-player list. And then we'll have a furthering of the playoff. There's a nice save made in the backcourt by Correa. He gets the big bounce, and he's got the points.
Yeah, thanks for catching the mistake. The 1 will now go to the back of the line. The 4 will play the 6, and the 1 goes to the back. The 1 does not play the next point. I should be paying closer attention.
Okay, so 4 serves to 6, and the winner of that point will meet the 1. So whoever wins this point will have possible show point. Again, looking for that 3rd place finisher. The game was won by Arietta, who went out 7 in a row the hard way, and he has been having his trouble in singles competition this season at the Milford Fronton. That was only his 8th win in a total of 67 starts. Well, he advances up the list, and Inclan is the leader in the game with only 10 wins. I say only 10 wins because now there's a logjam at the top for the $35,000 Milford Singles Championship title, as we have 1/3 of the season gone. So this is possible show point for Elorza in post 4.
I was going to say, although Arietta has played in 67 games and 8 wins in 67 games is not what you call burning it up, he's certainly a candidate for the overall championship. But keep in mind that the player who has won it every year he has played here at Milford Highlight is Juaristi, and he's still the guy to watch in this game. He trails right now in this singles event, but I believe at the end of the season he'll be right there.
Okay, so the shot by Elorza gets him show position. It's a 3-2-4 finish, and Bob and I will be back to wrap things up right after this.
My students think I'm stubborn, over-demanding, and that's putting it politely. They know they've got to do it right or not at all, but that's why they signed up for this class.
You're the one we want to please. Cable gives the choice to you, the who, what, and when that's right for you.
Cable TV challenges me, keeps me thinking, and it lets us share a few good moments together. That's something we all deserve.
Cable's right. 'Cause cable's not just more choice, it's your choice.
Cablevision advertising works. Join a growing new force in advertising. Cablevision advertising. It's effective and affordable. Combine the impact of television, the targeting of special interest magazines, and the frequency of radio. As a Cablevision advertiser, you'll reach a responsive audience in the nation's #1 market in consumer spendable income. You'll advertise in programs designed to reach a specific audience. Sports Channel, sit back, relax, and watch the home teams at home. MTV, 24-hour music television featuring the hottest and latest rock videos. USA Network, entertainment for the entire family. ESPN, the total sports network, 24 hours a day. CNN, cable news network, 24 hours of news and information. Increase your advertising power with the added impact of print ads in the Cablevision Guide, where your ad will be seen by thousands of Cablevision subscribers for an entire month. Call us, 372-7071. Cablevision advertising can work for you.
Jeff Brand and Bob Husler back at the Milford Fronton, and we witnessed the Arietta show with the mechanical man winning both halves of our twin bill. And as far as our handicapping goes, not too much proficiency there. You have your good days and your bad days. Close but no cigar. But they say sometimes it's tough to pick a winner in a one-team game.
Well, that's true, Jeff. Some handicapping in any sport, whether it be horse racing, highlight, you name it, is difficult. And when we do it, we're only doing it for fun. It's a lot of fun to sit down there and try and logically approach the game and hopefully come close to picking a winner. So when we do it, you have to keep in mind that we're doing it for fun. But tonight we did get fooled by Arrieta, who did win both games on tonight's telecast, and not bad at all for a guy 38 years old and still going real strong.
Now here we go again now with the Statue of Liberty torch effect here with do I need stilts?
We'll just put you on a platform from now on, that's all. That's easy to do. Or a soapbox.
Well, that sounds fine. We'll put you on the soapbox right here because next week here at the Milford Fronton, the holiday spirit with the All-American Week, what exactly will transpire?
Well, Jeff, this year, as you well know, on our 48-player roster, we have 8 Americans. And it also happens that those 8 American players can compete in singles. So what you have there is the potential of putting them all in one game, 8 post positions in every game. And since they're American, it made a lot of sense to conduct this game on the 4th of July, which is what we're going to do this year. The 4th of July, which is a Thursday, we'll have a special 15-game program that day, and the 7th game of that program will be called the All-American Singles Challenge. There's no extra money involved. It's just we're going to do it for a little bit of fun and also a little bit of prestige involved for the player who wins it. And at the end of the game, we have Uncle Sam on hand, who will present a nice trophy to the winner of the game. And for the record, the 8 players involved are Gilbert, Bobby, Bob, Augie, Jay Echaniz, Freddy, Mark, and Roger. Those are our 8 American players, and you can see them all playing in competition against each other in the All-American Singles Championship on the 4th of July.
Okay, and here on Tuesday, July 2nd at the Milford Fronton, round 5 of the Milford Hartford Championship Series. Halfway home in that championship series, things get mighty interesting from here on in.
Well, Zabala and Arbu continue to be the surprise team in the tournament, and they'll have the home court advantage coming around for round 5 here at Milford, as you see. On July the 2nd, I think it's also about time that Milford singles players woke up. Mendi and Remen have been having their way as of late. Remen especially had a great round and has been putting it together so far through the 4 rounds. The 4 Milford singles players, Inclan, Juaristi, Elorza, Zabala, I think it's about time they started to make a showing. And considering they have the home court advantage for the next round, I have a feeling they will.
Okay, so July 1st begins All-American Week here at the Milford Fronton. Make sure you're here because the rumor is that Bob Husler will be unveiling that red, white, and blue suit a la Lindsey Nelson.
No way, Jeff. You'll see me in blue or gray only. Very conservative in that approach.
Okay, well, that about does it from here. Thanks for being with us. Till next time, for Greg Grayson, Tom Moody, Kevin Collins, the entire Cablevision A crew, and Bob Husler, Jeff Brand saying so long from Connecticut's Milford High Life Fronton. At the midway point, and things should get mighty interesting as they round the final turn and they head for home. And as Bob will tell you, in doubles competition, only 9 points separate all 6 teams from top to bottom.
Jeff, that's absolutely correct, although Hartford has the momentum right now. No doubt about the fact that the Hartford teams are the ones that have been performing well lately in this series. Close series, but the last 2 rounds have went to Remen. We'll check that. Remen and Lorea, who substituted for Urquiaga in the backcourt. And then the round before that was captured by a Hartford team, Mendi and Lasa. So tonight, Milford has the home court advantage. Their 3 teams will be looking to use that in order to stop the Hartford momentum. Zabala and Arbu remain the top-scoring team in the tournament, and they've been doing well on a consistent basis. They haven't been spectacular, but they've been scoring 8 points one round, 7 points the next round, 9 points here, and that's what it takes to do very well in this tournament. But as you said, Jeff, the teams are separated by a very small number of points. As a matter of fact, in the 4-year history of this tournament, without a doubt, this is the most closely contested contest of them all. If you know anything about the history of this tournament, you know that in the previous 3 years, a Milford team by the name of Zuleika and Bonneguin consistently dominated things. Zuleika and Bonneguin no longer on the scene as far as this tournament goes, and now it's wide open. So we'll see. Zabala and Arbu tonight. Let's see if they can keep going. Can Remen keep playing the way he's been playing, and which has been spectacular? Mendi has been looking good lately. We'll keep an eye on him tonight. One other note we should make of in the doubles competition is that Juaristi, Milford's all-time leading winner and always one of the outstanding players in this tournament, is out with a shoulder injury, and he'll be replaced in tonight's competition by a very capable substitute. His name is Aska.
Okay, and the singles play, the first half of the 1985 Milford-Hartford Championship Series has proven to be all Hartford, and of course round 5 is going to be a pivotal one for the Milford players if indeed they are to remain in contention.
Well, that's true too, Jeff. Remen is leading everybody in the singles standings with 21 points so far, and he is followed by Mendi with 14 points, and then you have another Hartford player, echaniz, so no doubt about it, the standings are top-heavy in favor of Hartford right now. Player you can't count out as far as Milford's hopes are concerned is Inclan. Now you have to remember that Inclan so far this season, this Milford season, which began May 1st, has had a injury which he suffered during, well, not during tournament competition, but close to tournament competition in late May when he injured his wrist by slamming into the side wall. That put him out of action for 2 weeks. And when he came back, he had trouble getting used to his baskets, and he had trouble just getting into the flow of action again. So Inclan has had his trouble so far. We have 4 rounds to go. I think if Milford has any hopes as far as a singles player goes, it rests with Inclan. Tonight is a key round as far as Inclan is concerned. If he wants to make a run at the title, tonight is the night he has to do it.
Okay, by the way, those viewers at home need not adjust their television sets. In the middle of a holiday week here at the Milford Fronton, Bob Husel did not come through, as was hinted in our last telecast, with that red, white, and blue jacket a la Lindsey Nelson. He went with the conservative navy blue. Bob, maybe some people disappointed out there.
I hope not, but anybody that, well, this is going to be seen after the 4th of July. We left all the 4th of July histrionics to the man who handles it well, Uncle Sam. If you were here on the 4th of July, you saw the real Uncle Sam dressed in the authentic red, white, and blue doing the job. Leave that to him.
Well, we hope that the viewers out there are not disappointed, because this program is devoid of any type of patriotism or show of holiday spirit. But coverage of the Milford-Hartford Championship Series will continue right after this.
Don't become a statistic. Drinking and driving never mix. Drive like your life depended on it, because it does.
I'm Sergeant Len Roberto of the Bridgeport Police Department. Last year, 25,000 accidents were attributed to alcohol. Your local police departments ask that you please drive carefully.
Cablevision advertising works. Join a growing new force in advertising. Cablevision advertising. It's effective and affordable. Combine the impact of television, the targeting of special interest magazines, and the frequency of radio. As a Cablevision advertiser, you'll reach a responsive audience in the nation's #1 market in consumer spendable income. You'll advertise in programs designed to reach a specific audience. Sports Channel, sit back, relax, and watch the home teams at home. MTV, 24-hour music television featuring the hottest and latest rock videos. USA Network, entertainment for the entire family. ESPN, the total sports network today. CNN, cable news network, 24 hours of news and information. Increase your advertising power with the added impact of print ads in the Cablevision Guide, where your ad will be seen by thousands of Cablevision subscribers for an entire month. Call us, 372-7071. Cablevision advertising can work for you.
My students think I'm stubborn, over-demanding, and that's putting it politely. They know they've got to do it right or not at all. But that's why they signed up for this class.
You're the one we want to please. Cable gives the choice to you, the who, what, and when that's right for you.
Cable TV challenges me, keeps me thinking, and it lets us share a few good moments together. That's something we all deserve.
Cable's right. 'Cause cable's not just more choice, it's your choice.
Jeff Brand and Bob Husler back at the Milford Alai Fronton, set for round 5 of the Milford Hartford Championship Series singles competition. And Bob, this is the pivotal round, as you touched on in the at the top of the show, with the first half of the 1985 tournament and the singles competition all being slanted towards Hartford. So a big round for Milford if they want to stay in contention.
You're looking at the lineup for this game, and you see the post 3 position occupied by Remen, his jersey number 15, as you see right there. Remen is the man right now in the driver's seat in this competition. If any Milford player stands a chance in this particular event, this is the night they've got to come through. And if Remen wins this game, I don't think it would be a brash prediction to say he has just about wrapped it up, even though there would still be 3 rounds to play. So the guy to watch is post 3 Remen. If he scores a bunch, and he might run away with it. On the other hand, if he doesn't score tonight, and say an Inclan for Milford can run it up, and then Milford players are right back in it.
Okay, all the Hartford players will be going out of the odd number post. As you see, Mendi from Hartford taking a step forward as the players are being introduced to the crowd at courtside. There you see Elorza the second for Milford in post 2. The Milford players in the even number post. The game played to 7 points. Spectacular 7 scoring, with the points doubling after the first round of play. There you see Remen in the great post 3 in this game, leading with 21 points to his credit. Again, each and every point that a player scores carries over round by round, and the player with the highest point total after 8 rounds of play will pick up the tidy sum of $6,000. And Remen, as Bob told you, can go a long way into picking up that winner share.
The other players to watch in this game, Juaristi will be operating out of post 4. He's not out of it yet. He has 8 points. You compare that to Remen's event-leading 21 points, but you might say he is out of it. But there is still enough time to mount a charge at the leader. Now, right here, to start the game, you have a key point. You have number 34 now walking toward the service line. That's Mendi. And he'll be serving to post 2. That's Elorza of Milford. Key point to start the game. Elorza is the low man on the totem pole with points. And a good start from here should be crucial.
Okay, you see the effects on the screen. The server is the 1, the receiver the 2. That vertical column left side of your screen, that's the rotation. It'll change as we go on. Mendi into the serve, and this game is on. Again, the game played to 7 points. The first player to reach 7 will win this game. But again, each and every point that a player scores carries over round by round. There is Mendi with a passing shot to the inside, and he's got the first. Kept it right alongside that side wall. Right down the lane it went. And Mendi, you'll see, with the first point in this game, the middle vertical column, that second vertical column, the point totals, the 1 next to the 1, so post 1 has 1 point. At fourth vertical column, the win odds for this particular game. 1 now served 3, Remen.
Well, if you're a Hartford Highlight fan, you have to be pleased with the start of this game. You have Mendi, one of your players, who scores the first point of the game. And now the tournament leader in singles, Remen, is out on the court. So you have 2 Hartford players up there. They're 1-2 in the standings. The guy in the white shirt is the guy in the red shirt is in second place, so you can't go wrong if you're a Hartford fan on this point. What a great shot right there by Remen.
Great forehand bote by Remen. A lot of smoke behind that shot. A lot of players have trouble just getting the ball back to the front wall, but he's got a head of steam behind it. Ball bounces out of the cesta of Mendi. So again, a lot of smoke and a lot of spin in the basket. So the ball come right out of the basket of Mendi. Point for Remen, and he'll now serve to the 4. Oscar, who is substituting in this round for Juaristi. All the points that Oscar will score in this round, if any, will go towards the overall point total of Juaristi. And now a point for Oscar, which will in turn go to Juaristi, but Oscar stays on the court. On the underserve, off the cesta of Remen. 4 now serves to 5, Lasa.
Jeff, I just wanted to make note of the point that I made the Cardinals sin Anybody in attendance at a highlight fronton, I didn't make the change before the game. I forgot to take Juaristi out of the book and substitute Aska. You just see Aska there throwing the shots.
What a great climb right there by 23-year-old Lasa. Nice leap right there by Aska, who goes to the outside. The ball is off the court, so a point for the 5, but up goes Lasa, and that gets him the point. And he gets a nice round of applause from the onlookers at courtside. 5 now serves to 6 Inclan.
Well, 2 things to say there. Again, want to clarify the point that Juaristi is not playing in this game. I said that earlier. Aska, who should have won that point by all rights, does play in place of Juaristi, loses the point. Spectacular play by Lasa, and kind of a risky play for him. Since he injured his knee a couple of years ago, he's been a little reluctant on going up the side wall.
Robote, Karam, Lasa is good for 1 more. 2 points now for Lasa. You'll see him pop up on the board. There in the second vertical column, you see a deuce next to the 5. 2 points for the 5. The 5 is Lasa. He's serving now to fronton mate Kachin from Hartford.
Lasa, whose first name is Ricky, actually Ricardo, but he's known to everybody as Ricky, giving Inclan a taste of Inclan's own medicine. Inclan scores so many of his points off of the left side as Lasa now sits down after throwing that one into the overhead cushion. Inclan scores so many of his points off of the left side that sometimes it looks unusual to see Inclan lose a point when somebody throws it against him from the left side.
They complete the round with 7 serving to 8 Zabala. That thud you might have heard was the shot by Lasa pounding that overhead cushion. There's a cushion at the top and bottom of that front ball, so you have to keep the ball on the wall to stay alive. Lasa did not do so. There you see Kachin, and there's Zabala from Milford. Zabala with 9 points, Kachin having 13. 7 of those points in the column of Kachin were garnered by Gerny in a substitute role, but again, those points went to Kachin, who was a starter in this tournament. Zabala might have laid it up there, but he went to the back wall, and Sheen makes the save at the back wall. And he's got 1 more. So, the viewers and fans might be saying, why didn't he lay the ball up? Well, he thought that he had Kachin coming up behind him, making a run. He took a glance, and instead Kachin decided to remain in the backcourt. Zabala decided to pepper the back wall, and he lost on that decision. Now that each player has taken a turn on the court, points are doubled for the remainder of the game. 7 serves to 2. Elorza, there he is.
When you watch Kachin, that's he feeling that shot right there. You are watching a player that has perhaps the best rebote shot in the game today. Again, rebote means the shot that's taken off the back wall. Kachin makes it look so easy that it's actually not fair. And he won that last point against Zabala because he has such a great rear wall shot. Right here, he is set up.
A forehand rebote layup thrown by Elorza, and now a save by Elorza. But the ball catches the overhead screen, so the 7 takes a couple more. A calculated risk, rather, for Elorza, as he tried to dupe Kachin, but Kachin didn't buy it. So 7. Kachin now with 4 points, and he serves it up to the 1, Mendi.
Well, again, it's a feast so far for the Hartford players, the Milford players, in that first round of the competition in this game here tonight, scoring only 1 point. Aska, and now Kachin is in a position to possibly run this game out. Kachin also taking good advantage of the 7 points scored by Gerny when Gerny substituted for him earlier.
Backing up here is Kachin. Nice save made at the sidewall. Mendi is set up on his forehand, using the angle. And he's got a couple of points. So with Mendi standing on the wood, having the ball on his forehand, he had Kachin at his mercy. 1 now serves to 3. Grumman. Jeff Brand and Bob Huslord courtside at the Milford Fronton for round 5 of the Milford-Hartford Championship Series.
Tonight, Jeff, I have to be honest with you. I thought that the Milford players would rebound, especially in this singles game, considering more than anything else that it's their own court they're playing on tonight. That is not the case at all. So far in this game, only 1 of the points scored has been scored by a Milford player, and it's going to stay that way at least for another point, as you have a couple of Hartford players going at it right here.
Passing shot by Mendi, good for a couple more. Remen went for the big bounce, which was in turn deflated by Mendi. He got there in time, and he set the ball along the sidewall. 5 points now for Mendi. The points are worth 2 in value. He played a 7, so this is possible game point for Mendi, trying to sit him down the 4. Oscar.
Mendi is starting to get used to the Milford court in a hurry. Obviously, if he wins this game here, it'll represent the 2nd time in a row he has won on this Milford court. Tonight, he's helped a little bit by the always advantageous post-1 position. As Haskell can try and put him away right here. Forget it.
It's all over. The return carry by Mendi is good for point game. Mendi post-1. It's a 1-7 finish, and again a Hartford sweep in the singles competition. That's the way it was last time. The tournament round was played here at the Milford Fronton, a 1-7-5 finish, and coverage of the Milford Hartford Championship Series will continue right after this. Jeff Brand and Bob Husler back at the Milford Fronton, ready for the doubles competition. But first off, Bob Husler will recap the one-on-one action that you saw earlier. There you see the lineups for the doubles play. But first, Bob, with that rundown of the singles.
Jeff, I was just over talking to a couple of acquaintances from Hartford Alai, and they have every reason to gloat over the results of tonight's singles game. And as not only tonight's singles game, but they have reason to be proud of how Hartford's done in the tournament so far in that event. It has been all Hartford, to summarize it. But to give you the particulars, Remen of Hartford remains the leader, but his lead has been reduced considerably. Remen of Hartford scored 1 point tonight in the singles and now has 22 points overall. Mendi, the winner of tonight's round, the 2nd straight time he has won the singles game here at Milford, is now in 2nd place with 21 points. You drop back to Kachin, another Hartford player, so you have Hartford running 1, 2, 3 in this event. Kachin with 17 points, and then the rest of the field looks like this. It is Inclan in 4th place with 10 points. Then you drop back to Zabala, Lasa with 8. Juaristi also has 9. Let's get past him, although he was substituted for tonight by Aska. The trailer is Elorza.
So to add all things up in the singles competition, if Mendi or Remen can score, say, a handful of points in any of the next of the 3 rounds, it's going to be a Hartford player that wins the 1985 singles championship. Now the doubles teams will be introduced here at courtside at the Milford Fronton. Jeff Brand and Bob Husler on looking, and you see the first team take a step forward. Rather, Remen and Urquiaga from the Hartford Fronton. They have 29 points, and they lead their contingent. You saw Inclan and Mugersa from Milford in post 2, so all of the Hartford teams will go out of the odd number posts, and Milford teams out of the even number posts. Game played at 10 points, all points scored one at a time, unlike the singles game you saw earlier, where the points doubled after the first round of play.
The leading team in the tournament thus far is Zabala and Arbu. They're operating out of post number 6. They'll be introduced right now. They're wearing the yellow shirts in this game. They represent Milford Alai, but their overall lead in this tournament is kind of shaky right now. Just 2 points ahead of the next closest team in the overall standings. They're 2 points ahead of Remen and Urquiaga, and you see Remen in the middle of your screen right there, preparing to get this game underway. Should point out what that all means. The team that has the overall top total at the end of the series gains the home court advantage for the championship match. So it is important to be the leaders.
Tough serve by Remen to start the game. It was close to an underserve, and it was all that Mugersa can do in the backcourt for the 2 team to handle that serve. So the 1 team, Remen and Urquiaga, the 2 team, Inclan and Mugersa. Game played to 10 single points. Here is Remen throwing a carom, and he's got the first point of the game. He went with the 2 wall, hitting the side wall, then the front wall, angling towards the floor of the court, and then into the screen. Having hit the court first before darting into the screen, that was a good point. So 1 now serves to 3, Mendi and Lasa. The 2, having lost the first point, they go to the end of the line. There is Remen into his second serve. That's an underserve. So a loss of the point. A free point for the 3 team. There you see Mendi. And 3 now at the top of the line. They'll be serving to the 4. Oscar and Elorza. Oscar substituting in the doubles competition as he did in the singles play for Juaristi.
Oscar's certainly a capable tournament player. This is, in fact, the first year in the 4-year history of the Milford Hartford series that Oscar has not been a regular member of the Milford contingent, if you will. So Oscar is definitely tournament ready. As a matter of fact, he is one of the Milford players in the Milford-Miami Championship Showdown, which will be played here at Milford. The final 3 rounds of that tournament will be played at Milford July 11th through 13th. And Oscar, one of the front court members of Milford's 3 teams, he is teamed in that tournament with Arbu.
Right there, he's pulled off by this teammate, Elorza. There's Mendi dropping the ball at the side wall, so a point for the 4. Stays on the court, and they'll serve it up to post 5, Kachina Gerny. The 3 losing the point, they go to the end of the line. So again, points scored one at a time in this game, unlike the singles competition you saw earlier. And you say, why the single points here? Well, this is the way the game is played in Spain. The single point partido type of game, although there are 6 teams going here. But the singles game you saw earlier with the spectacular 7 scoring, that's the Americanization of this game of highlight to allow more games to be played. If we were to have all single point games, we'd be going on and on to the wee hours. So here with the points scored one at a time, you get a chance to see what each and every of the doubles competitors can do in the longer type of game. Nice play made by Elorza.
That was a great catch by Elorza. Fantastic catch, and he looks like he is right in the flow of action here, and that is something that they need, that team needs. Juaristi and Elorza, if Juaristi's in, but tonight Aska's in. Aska needs Elorza to be at the top of his game. So far in these first couple of points, they're really clicking. And Aska really responds to these challenges. He's a tournament player. He's a money player. That's one way of characterizing it. And I noted that the fans in attendance here tonight who bet on this game, and of course betting is allowed in every game here at Milford Highlight, made Aska and Elorza the long shots of the field. I disagree. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but they certainly are not the long shots, at least in my opinion.
Rounding out the field is 6, Zabala and Arbu. Leading point getters coming into this competition. The backhand carom Zabala is taken by Oscar. He throws a reverse carom and he's got the point.
Yes, sir.
So Oscar getting the point off the retrieve, and the 4 now has a quick 3 points. 4 now serves to 2, Inclan and Muguerza. And again, all points scored one at a time. Points will not double up. Single markers for the duration of this game.
That's the way to play the game, too. You were talking about the Americanization of the scoring, Jeff, for Alai, and it's something that does expedite matters. And the 4 scores again as Inclan could not handle the serve. Aska smoked in there. Inclan usually eats that up, so that's a surprising miscue on the part of Inclan.
So the 4 has 4. You see the 4 next to the 4. Those 2 vertical columns in the center of your screen. A second vertical column, the point total. Third vertical column, the post position for each team in the game. The 1 team, Remen Urquiaga.
Juaristi is on the sidelines tonight. Aska just threw that shot, is substituting for him. Juaristi is watching on tonight, and he has got to be one of these fellow right now. Because, of course, every point that Aska scores tonight, along with Elorza, is credited to
the
his
save
total.
Made by Elorza in the backcourt, keeping this point alive.
Here's some Remen smoke. Let's see if it sits. No, it comes out.
So Juaristi is sitting on the sidelines saying, "Go Oscar." And the team of Oscar and Elorza now halfway home in this 10-point game. They have a quintet of points, 5 points for Oscar and Elorza in post 4. They now serve to the 3, Mendi and Lasa.
Key to that point for Aska and Elorza, meaning the key to them winning that last point, was the speed and the force of the shot thrown by Elorza off of the back wall. Before Remen wound up, I think I commented as the play was unfolding, here's some smoke by Remen. Will it stay? It did Elorza was right there to field the shot, but not only did he make the shot, he put some smoke on it, and that's why they won the point. Urquiaga couldn't handle it as it came down the side wall. Elorza is playing outstanding right now, and so is Aska. Aska has really broken a sweat, and he's going 110% right now.
Calls off his teammate Elorza, makes a save at the side wall. The 4 team, Aska and Elorza, with 5 from the goal, breaking out of the gate quickly. There's Mendi firing to the back wall for the 3 team. Here's Elorza. Ball just makes it above the lower cushion. Fine grab made by Elorza on a half carom by Mendi. Another great catch by Elorza. Backing up here will be Aska.
Here's the point of the night so far.
Inside the line, and a half dozen now for the 4 team. Aska and Elorza, 6 straight points for that team. Those 2 players on the court, Aska and Elorza, number 10 Aska, number 62 Elorza. 6 straight points for the 4. 4 now serves the 5, Kachin and Gerny.
And Aska being paid the ultimate compliment as Kachin ran out to assume his position in the receiver's box. He gave Aska a little pat on the rear end with his basket. So there's one opponent congratulating the other on a fine play. And I'll tell you what, Jeff, 6 points in a row for Aska and Elorza. There's nothing harder than to run 10 straight points in this game. But if you're Aska and Elorza, that's what you're thinking right now. You're not saying, oh, we've got 6, we've got 7, we're off to a good start, we'll get plenty more chances to get to 10. That's not the way to do it. You got the momentum on your side now. They're going to go all out. This is not going to be something that they're going to hold back on. They're going to go all the way if they can.
In this single-point game, the players allowed to take a breather, to towel off, get a drink, what have you. The 5 team is ready. That's Gerny on your screen, and in the front court you cannot see Kachin. They're awaiting serve, but Aska and Elorza are allowed to towel off and take their time, and when they come back on the court, they'll be only 4 points away from their 10-point goal. I'll tell you, Bob, Aska with some bag of tricks. I never know what he's going to come up with. That was a forehand rebote placement by Aska, angling to the far outside of the court. I don't know where he came up with that one.
Well, as I said, he's a money player. He responds to the challenges, and he will surprise you. He will do things in these circumstances that surprise you. You don't think he's capable of it, but he goes ahead and does it. I don't know if this last time out by them is move. I mean, obviously, who am I to say? These guys are the ones out there breaking the sweat and trying to get a little bit of a second wind, but they're on such a roll that I just keep firing that ball up there.
That does not make it to the front wall, so the 4 will finally sit down. Not before they come up with 6 straight points. So you see the 4 drop to the end of the rotation. They're at the bottom of the rotation, left vertical column. 5 now serves to 6, Zabala and Arbu.
I think the 4 ran out of gas. The players are not used to playing these points one at a time, and believe me, they're breathing hard right now on the bench. Is Aska and Elorza, but they've got a quick 6 right from the start as Arbu makes a fantastic pickup right there.
You just about see the image of Juaristi down there fanning Aska, saying, hang in there, buddy. Again, all the points that Aska comes up with for his team in this particular round will go towards Juaristi. The starting team, Juaristi and Elorza in this tournament, but Juaristi sitting out in this round with that shoulder injury. There is Zabala firing to the inside, and Gerny is equal to the task. There's Arbu in the backcourt.
To give you a quick point update, by virtue of those 6 straight points, that Juaristi and Elorza team now with 30 points, they're right up there with the leaders. The leaders still being the team on the court wearing the yellow shirts. That's Arbu, the backcourtman, and Zabala up front for Milford.
Backing up here is Kachin. That ball caught the crack, so Kachin is set up on the outside of the court. Zabala trying to drop it to the inside, but he caught the crack. The point stays alive, and the point goes to 6. A rare unforced error by Kachin in the deep front court, so the 5 sits down. 6 now serves to 2, Inclan and Muguruza. Early in the broadcast, Bob mentioned that Kachin has the best rebote in the game. It might stipulate the best backhand rebote, because the best forehand rebote in this game goes to no other than Bolivar the first, who used to play in this area, but there is no other forehand rebote in the game, as held by the king of this game, Bolivar the first, many-time world champion.
Although Remen's a very close second. And there's a fella, Inclan, the serve passed up by Inclan, who probably has the best left side in the game. It's his backcourt partner, Milford, only 21 years old, still unproven under tournament circumstances. Big future ahead of him. And Muguerza has been quiet in tournament competition so far, and he has a tendency to get down on himself, but he has to keep in mind that he has about 15 more years at least of a career to go, and he's getting the greatest education in his life as far as Alai is concerned by just playing in these games.
His team 0 for 3 thus far in this particular game. Zabala and Arbu in the 6 now have 6 points, and the one team, Remen and Urquiaga, have a lone point to their credit. That is Zabala firing to the back wall, and here is Remen, his front court counterpart.
And you know, this is a return to action for Urquiaga. The last 2 rounds, he has been replaced at the competition by Alai. Alai did a great job. Urquiaga now trying to recover, and obviously he is fully recovered from a sprained ankle.
Game played at 10 points. All points scored one at a time. Jeff Brand and Bob Houston at the Milford Alai Fronton. Round 5 action in the Milford Hartford Championship Series. Urquiaga dictating instructions to his front court mate, Remen. Again, communication. Much the key here in doubles competition. Well, you did not witness the interview earlier with Zabala, but he made the acknowledgement as he makes a fine grab at the sidewall. Made the acknowledgement that they don't have the best tools, but they're the best team thus far. Although an error made by Zabala at midcourt, so they'll sit down. The one takes the point, and one out 3, Mendi and Lasa. What Zabala was saying in the interview, not the best skills, alluding to the fact there are some great superstars in this lineup, but they show the best teamwork, and that's why they were on top coming into tonight's action. The 3 team is Mendi and Lasa.
Remain on top as we keep you right up to date with the points, with 33 points overall. We're in round 5 of this competition, as Remen commits the second blunder off of the serve tonight. He had an underserve earlier. Now he overserves. It's the one thing that keeps Remen from being a great player, I believe. Well, no. Let me take that back and have an argument on my hands with many Hartford Alai fans. Remen is a great player. I don't want to dispute that. But he has concentration problems. I don't know any way of putting it. A player of his caliber shouldn't make those kind of mental mistakes as often as he seems to do.
That is Mendi on your screen into the serve. The 4th team, the receivers, Oscar and Elorza, they're back with 6 points off the goal. In a game with only 6 teams in the lineup, you get back on the court quickly. There's Oscar in the front court, electing to let it go by for his backcourt mate, Elorza.
Elorza really pumping back there. You can see it. You can see that he is completely loose and ready to let it go. Another player who has been very impressive in the competition.
He is good for the point. 7 points now for Oscar and Elorza, and 4 now serves the 5, Kachin and Gerny.
I was going to say that Mendi is the guy that's been impressing me right throughout the tournament, not only tonight, but all series long. Up at Hartford, he and Remen battle for the top dog honors. He is regarded as a superstar of the game, but in previous years in this tournament, he has been kind of overshadowed by others. But he's been steady and smooth so far this year, although he sits down at last point, and the team of the night so far is up there. They're dressed in green. That's Elorza in the back and Oscar up front.
See Kachin peppering the back wall, trying to get it in that slot at the base of the rear wall. It goes in and slides out. That's known as Chula in the game of Alai. That's what their goal is. Those front quarters as they pepper that back wall. The pickup by Gerny.
Oscar threw a nice shot.
Here is Oscar.
Beauty.
The 4 has one more. Now totaling 8. So the rotation left side of your screen shows the 4 serving to the 2. The 4 has 8 points. That's Oscar and Elorza. And the 2 team is Inclan and Muguruza trying to get on the board. Backhand carom Inclan. That puts them on the board in a hurry. Bronx cheers in the background from the large crowd here at the Milford Fronton, but we've seen Inclan operate in the past, and though he's instant offense, give him the ball and watch him score. 2 down serves to 6, Zabala and Arbu. So the next time the 4 team, Oscar and Elorza, come up, they'll be only 2 points away from winning this game.
And you have 2 Milford teams on the court. Inclan taking on Zabala right there. And this doubles game has been a complete turnaround from the singles competition. Singles tonight was dominated by Hartford. Milford has completely wiped up so far in doubles. Look out. Dangerous shot. A young player's mistake right there. Didn't have a chance for the shot. What a more experienced player will do is to just let the shot go or do nothing at all. And in that case, Muguruza should have probably done nothing. That he risked injury to one of his teammates.
Well, that's commonly known as Inclan almost eating pelota, as he was in close quarters with Muguruza and almost took the ball face first alongside that sidewall. 6 down serves to 1, Remen and Urquiaga.
Hartford players have been outscored by Milford in this doubles game so far, 12-5, if my quick addition is correct. And Zabala and Arbu, the leaders in the tournament, will try and keep it going right here against Remen and Urquiaga.
The 1 team, Remen and Urquiaga, they've been working hard, but faulty serves off the cesta of Remen. 1 an underserve, 1 an overserve, has sat his team down. So they might be saying all that work for nothing. Here is Zabala with the forehand rebote, the back wall, the rebote wall. Any shot that is thrown off the back wall is known as a rebote. There's another one. And here is Urquiaga from Hartford.
Another player who's really matured throughout the years, a player who has performed in all 4 of these tournament events, is Arbu, a guy who will probably field this next shot. I knew it. You know, I almost felt it coming because I was about to talk about what a good steady catcher he is. That was a tough shot. It was a tough chance. But I wish we could have frozen that shot before I was able to complete my thought, because I could have predicted he would have dropped the next shot as I began to talk him up. But regardless, 1 mistake means nothing in the face of what Arbu has accomplished as a player the last couple of seasons. And at this point right now, he is a very dependable backcourt catcher.
Cam in the cushion, 1 takes, 1 more. So right here, the 3 Hartford teams are all in line. The 3 Milford teams sitting on the bench next to one another. So this is a pivotal round right here coming up, as the Hartford teams will try to stay on the court, but if they sit down, it'll be all Milford for quite a while. Right now, it's all Hartford with the... Here's Kachin, who is team with Gerny in the post 5 position. Throws a backhand carom. It's picked off by Remen. And the 1 scores another. 5 play made by the man number 15, Remen. So the 1. Now with a total of 5 points. You see that second vertical column. It shows a 5 at the top of the line next to the 1. Post 1 has 5 points. And going back to that first vertical column, that's the rotation. 1 now serves to 4. Oscar and Elorza. Fine play made by Remen, keeping the ball alive before it went into the screen, which would have been a winner for Kachin, and in turn Remen, using the angle, put the point away.
Well, this is a key point in the game. You see on the scoreboard, you see an 8 next to the 4. The 4 is on the court, the 4 being Oscar Elorza, who had that big run earlier in the match of 6 straight points. Oscar goes for the inside placement.
Fine run made by Bremen, but it went in and out of the basket. The inside placement by Oscar, as he was aggressive off the serve, led to the point. Bremen got there with the tip of the basket, but kind of double clutch the ball. Sometimes in racquetball tennis, you'll hit the ball twice on a miss hit. Well, Bremen could not complete the play. 9 points now for the 4 team. Game played to 10 points. So this is possible game point for Oscar and Elorza. Inclan takes the serve and puts it away. That's who sat down the 4 team last time out. Inclan took the serve and threw the 2-all. He provided an instant replay for the fans and the team of Oscar and Elorza. 2 down serves to 6. Zabala and Arbu.
Well, Oscar is going to take the long walk on the wood and go back to the bench, but when he comes back again, he and Elorza will have a chance to win the game with 9 points. However, the key thing for them so far tonight has been they have scored every time they've been up. They scored 6 off of the go, as this point stays alive. Then they scored 2 more the next time up, and 1 more single point than last time.
Rabote, Caron by Inclan is good for another. Well, here's the contact in the backcourt, so that ball stayed alive, and Inclan was alive on the wood using the angle. Put it away easily. He has Zabala at his mercy. 2 down serves to 3, Mendi and Lasa. Again, the game played at 10 points. Jeff Brand and Bob Husler at courtside at the Milford Fronton. This is round 5 of the Milford Hartford Championship Series. Backhand Mendi lands on the wood, so another for the 2. All of a sudden, the 2 team has 4 points. We told you about the scoring prowess of Inclan. He was helped out that time by the errant Mendi, but the 2 is still on the court. They now serve to the 5, Kachin and Gerny.
Well, Inclan and Muguerza are certainly not going to say die. They've scored 3 straight points when Oscar and Elorza got to 9 points to face Inclan and Muguerza. A lot of fans started anticipating the finish of the game. However, this game is not finished, and Inclan and Muguerza are going to try and make sure it goes on for quite some time.
It looks like Inclan's going to unload his bag of tricks right here. He's throwing everything but the kitchen sink at the team of Kachin and Gerny. Forehand Caron this time is good for another. And Gerny came from the backcourt to try to make the play in the front court. Big burst of speed, but not quick enough. So 2 now serves to 1, Bremen and Urquiaga. Those 2 teams each with 5 points to their credit. So we'll break the tie right here for 2nd place in this game.
Great run right here by Inclan and Muguerza to get right back into this game. They didn't score until 15 points have been put on the board tonight. And here they are. Well, there they go. Here they were in a position to make a run and actually winning the game. But right there, Inclan with a misthrown shot gives the one a point, and here we go again, a rematch.
Possible for the receiving for Oscar and Elorza. I think Inclan was showing off his entire repertoire right there. He said, well, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down fighting. And he went with the forehand to the outside, but caught the lower cushion. It's possible for the 4 team, Oscar and Elorza Milford. And here is Bremen from Hartford. Tough play for Oscar. Can't make the play. So now the 1 team with 7 points. You see the 7, the second vertical column rather. And actually the 1 team can go out without having to face the 4 team again.
You know that carnival game where the guy gives you a hammer and you try and ring the bell, the mallet? Well, I'll tell you right there, if you could have drawn a parallel between that carnival game and highlight, Bremen would have knocked the bell about 200 feet into the sky off of that last shot. He had amazing last toss.
Inside placement, Zabala drops in for the point, so the 4 will get another chance eventually. The 1 drops to the end of the line. 6 now serves to 3. Mendi and Lasa. The team of Zabala and Arbu with a total of 4 points now. Again, the game played at 10 points.
Well, this is a chance for Zabala and Arbu to make sure that they maintain their status as the #1 scoring team in the tournament. Right now, that honor belongs to Hartford's Reverend Urquiaga, but of course the game not over. Zabala and Arbu now a point behind the leaders, and we're talking points that change every minute right now. The Zabala and Arbu are trying to get right back up to the top, looking for the run here. Tough team to beat, Mendi and Lasa.
Pick up by Arbu, and this the 29th point of this game. 6 teams, Zabala and Arbu. The 3 team, Mendi and Lasa.
You look at this point one of 2 ways. As Zabala and Arbu will make a run at it, or that Mendi and Lasa are due to score. They've been very, very quiet tonight.
As Lasa in the for this Hartford team, one of 4 highlight playing brothers.
A lot of spin on that one right there. Zabala did a good job controlling it.
Lasa family, those sons, all sons of the former Bridgeport Highlight Players manager. You see Lasa play as he retreated at the back wall. Woo. Great save made by Mendi on the wall ball.
Nice shot.
The shot by Zabala spins home for 1 more. So 5 points now for the 6th team, Zabala and Arbu.
Well, you see, Zabala, as you said, Jeff, in the interview was talking about how he and Arbu don't have the outstanding physical tools and that great array of shots. But Zabala did show how he wins points. He wins them by placement. He plays great positional high line in the front court. And you saw in those last couple of throws of his, he was just working on the back court and trying to keep it to the back wall, keep it to the back wall. And finally, he was able to throw the winning chick shack, it's called, where he caught the ball. We threw the ball, so it caught the floor low, hit the back wall, and came out with practically no bounce, no chance at all for Lasa on that play. Zabala won't blow you off the court. He'll just nickel and dime you to death, and he gets the job done.
Well, once he got the ball over, Lasa said it was just about all over because he caught the side wall on his throw. He made contact with the front wall, then the side wall, and that extra spin when it hit the back wall, as that ball spins away, and a point for the 5. And when that ball on Zabala's shot hits the back wall, just darts straight towards the ground, and not a thing that Lasa could do on that point prior. But here the 5 will now serve to the 2, Inclan and Mugersa. So the winner of this point will be facing that 4 team, Elorza, that again will come up with possible game point.
And let's see if he can keep Inclan. He does not.
Another backhand carry by Inclan. Good for point number 6 for the 2 team. Amazing how he controls that ball as it comes off of that front wall with a lot of smoke behind it. He controls the ball in the basket, adapts, and fires another 2-ball. And a half dozen points for that 2 team. Again, possible now for the receiving 4, Elorza.
Well, regardless of the game ends here, Inclan and Mugersa have made a tremendous comeback in this event. Well, let's sit back and watch. The game could end if the 2 does not defeat the 4. 2 Milford teams out there right now, though. So if you're a Milford fan, it's just a matter of sitting back and seeing what the game outcome is.
Question of the 4 team getting back into the flow, but Mugersa cannot handle a ball in the backcourt, so it's all over but the shouting. The game is won by Elorza, and Oscar substituting for Juaristi in post 4. Helps that team along. As we have a momentary delay, as we have a jam up in the scoreboard, but it will be a 4-2-6 finish. A 4-2-6 finish in this. Well, let's check that. I'll read the scoreboard again. It'll be a 4-1-2 finish when they put the points on the board, and we'll get things all squared away and back with the wrap-up right after this.
Cablevision advertising works. Join a growing new force in advertising. Cablevision advertising. It's effective and affordable. Combine the impact of television, the targeting of special interest magazines, and the frequency of radio. As a Cablevision advertiser, you'll reach a responsive audience in the nation's #1 market in consumer spendable income. You'll advertise in programs designed to reach a specific audience. Sports Channel, sit back, relax, and watch the home teams at home. MTV, 24-hour music television featuring the hottest and latest rock videos. USA Network, entertainment for the entire family. ESPN, the total sports network, 24 hours a day. CNN, cable news network, 24 hours of news and information. Increase your advertising power with the added impact of print ads in the Cablevision Guide, where your ad will be seen by thousands of Cablevision subscribers for an entire month. Call us, 372-7071. Cablevision advertising can work for you.
This month on Cablevision's Rainbow.
Attention, Madness fans! Announcing the arrival of movies so maniacal, so mercilessly mad, they deserve a month all to themselves.
There's no law and order anymore.
You can say that again when in July, the Movie Channel presents Midnight Madness.
Exclusive entertainment is yours with Cablevision's Rainbow.
Celebrate the spirit of America. Help rebuild the HMS Rose, the last full-rigged sailing ship in North America. The Rose will represent this area in the op sale on July 4th, 1986 to salute the unveiling of the Statue of Liberty on her 100th birthday. Send your contribution, large or small, to the HMS Rose Foundation, 1 Bostwick Avenue, Captain's Cove, Seaport, Bridgeport, or call 1433. Celebrate the spirit of America.
Jeff Brand and Bob Husler back at the Milford Highlight Fronton. It was a 4-1-2 finish. The great relief job by Oscar coming out of the bullpen, along with the stellar performance by Elorza, really knocked the computer out.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. I don't know if it was responsible for knocking the computer out, Jeff, but Oscar gets the relief star of the year so far, at least in this tournament. He did an outstanding job in place of Juaristi tonight, and Elorza was also at the top of his game, and that was all they needed tonight. They ran off what I believe, and I could look up later on, but what I believe was the biggest run of the series, 6 straight points in that 10-point game, and that was just about it. As a certain sportscaster would say, you could have turned off your sets right there. However, it was fun to wait around for the end, because you never know in this game, but Oscar and Elorza do hold on. Great job by both of those two. In the singles tonight, well, it looks like it may just be a matter of waiting to see which Hartford players win this singles event, because so far it's been Hartford dominated, and that is how it continued tonight. It's going to be a 3-way battle, it appears, between Remen, Mendi, and Kachin.
Okay, and round 6 of the Milford Hartford Championship Series travels up the pike to the Hartford Fronton on Sunday, July the 21st, back here at the Milford Fronton for round 7 on Tuesday evening, August 6th. But we turn our attention now to the Budweiser Championship Showdown, which will be here at the Milford Fronton Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings, July 11th through 13th.
Should be an outstanding tournament. As you know, I was down in Miami for the first 3 rounds of this tournament, and let's make that clear right now. This is not the whole tournament you're going to be seeing here in Connecticut. We've already played 3 rounds of this series down in Miami. The Miami teams have a lead right now over the Milford teams, so it's going to be a come-from-behind effort for Milford if they should win this. But I'm not exaggerating. Just because I work for Milford Highlight and I speak for them officially doesn't mean that I always exaggerate when I talk about Highlight. I saw some spectacular Highlight in Miami, and if what they play here in Milford on those 3 nights is anything close to what they played in Florida, it is certainly worth their while to come out here to see the Milford-Miami Showdown.
The return of Milford, a former star, Bonneguin, and also you'll get a chance to see Joey, who is ranked as the top American-born player in the sport of Highlight. July 11th, 12th, and 13th here at the Milford Fronton. That's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings. I'm looking forward to it. That about does it from here. Thanks for being with us. Until next time, for Paul Basil, Greg Raisin, Tom Moody, Kevin Collins, the entire Cablevision 8 crew, and Bob Husler, Jeff Brand saying so long from Connecticut's Milford Highlight Fronton.